ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TFT Patch 10.16 note rundown. For people who don't know, I didn't do a 10.15 note rundown, mainly because I was playing in a Twitch Rivals event, and so I didn't have a lot of time spent on TFT or watching TFT. This patch, I feel a little bit better about it. I've played more than I did last patch, as well as the fact that I watched more, especially like competitive wise. I've watched a decent amount to figure out that, like, I would say 10.5 is in a pretty good spot, and I think 10.6 they're just trying to make small adjustments because this is the patch that goes straight into Worlds, if I recall correctly. Anyways, before we start, let's see what they have to say. Welcome, no fancy movie trailer intro this time, just straight to business. After the Dark Star domination of a few weeks ago, feeling much better about the state of the meta. They should, it's much better. This week we're looking to make a few small nudges by bumping underperforming champions and traits while giving a slight nerf to the Astro Sniper build. We're taking a swing at adjusting a few items to make sure those make sure to check out those changes. Try a few new items / champion combinations. The New World Salvage Galaxy will break down full items back to their components when you sell an equipped champion. Last but not least, we're buffing a few chase traits, and 3-star champions get a little more juice for their squeeze, as the kids say. The kids don't say that, dude. Are you serious? Which boomer wrote this? Okay, quick talk about the meta. So 10.14 was about like Dark Stars. Yeah, a lot of Jarvan, and Jarvan got triple nerfed or something. He double hot fixed into like a nerf the next patch to make him not see much play. He's still pretty good, but he's not incredibly OP, and it opens up a lot of kind of room to play a lot of different comps. On the current patch, there's a lot of things that are playable. You'll see a 6 BM do really well, 6 Vanguard Mystics do really well. You'll see Astro Snipers be like kind of the top comp, but not the top comp by that much. It's like a little bit. And pretty much, I think right now there's like about like 4 to 8 playable comps. Everything from Battlecast Reroll to Mech is playable, and so the last patch felt pretty good. There's a couple of things that weren't great, like, 6 Chronos not really a synergy and stuff like that. But for the most part, most of the comps were playable, and most of the starting items were usable. Anyways, let's just get down into it. I'm not even bothered with this graphic because we're going to talk about everything anyways. Now to the right side, we're going to take some time to AFK next week for rest and recovery. This means patch 1.17 will be smaller than normal with a return to full-size patches at 10.18. I think this is the world's patch. I was told that this was, but if it's not, I'm pretty happy with them having small adjustments here and small adjustments on the next patch. So I don't think you can do anything about the current state of the game on a bigger picture level without kind of changing up too many things. New little legends, they're Melissa, Hushtail, Pengu. Oh, there's new Spirit Blossom versions of current ones. Okay, this one's kind of cool, the Pengu one. System, Salvage World. When you sell a champion, any complete items are holding or broken down into components. Okay, first of all, before I say anything else, Mortdog lied, because he's been asked this question a lot on stream where will they ever introduce like breaking down items into components? And he's always answered no. So like the fact that I see this right now, I'm just like, I can't trust that guy anymore. But I've never been one to want this in the game. The reason is because I feel like slamming items early is super important to be able to kind of balance between the immediate strength of the item as opposed to getting perfect items later. Usually slamming items early means you save more life, but saving items means you get earlier carousel pick, as well as get like higher chance of placing like, I guess, 1 and 2 as opposed to top 4. That's usually how I think of the situation, and I think there was a good trade-off for that. So I never really wanted to introduce item breakdown into the game. It's being introduced, so I like this being introduced as a galaxy as opposed to anything else. But it's going to be one of the most I guess more complicated systems to play, because it means that you're able to kind of be very flexible. If you want to slam stuff like Shiv to be able to snowball early, or Ludens, and then re-breaking the component to build like, let's say, blue buff if you find it, or breaking like or multiple Zephyrs or multiple Shrouds for late game, it's going to be one of the hardest galaxies to play on, in my opinion, because there's going to be the most amount of, I guess, room to do new things. So it's got a lot of cool opportunity for upsides, but it has a downside of like kind of being like everyone's going to be slamming early game items and then transitioning out. So it may not be as cool, I guess, as it could be in theory. Quality of life, in-game recipes are here. Amazing quality of life. The reason why I stopped doing my kind of cheat sheets were because they introduced the item stuff in the game as well as the champions, and I think that like the more that they introduce that's given to the player as an option in the game, unless they have to search up, is better for everything else. So right-clicking item components to see what they build into. Full items are currently highlighted. Recipes now appear on tooltips. Amazing quality of life buff. Cool. Love it. This is the best thing they can add. Items. We're taking it past some items that are rarely built to open up itemization options. Okay, Hodge, Gunblade, Locket, Hurricane, Shiv, Swordbreaker. Okay, of these, Shiv is usable, Hurricane's somewhat usable, Gunblade's not usable. Okay, so Hodge. 50 health and hit gets 50% healing from damage done by both abilities and basic autos. So it's Omnivamp. So it's both it's 50% chance to roll both BT and Gunblade. Okay. Gunblade now makes it so there's overhealing, which is cool because I think Gunblade, generally speaking, doesn't have a really big niche. No one really builds this item. There's not many units can use this, especially because units like Echo, for instance, don't have the damage calculated as spells, so you can't even use it to heal with really powerful units like that. Locket is a very scary thing to buff. They ended up giving it 25 more. I don't think it'll be that much of a problem, but this is an item that you definitely want to be very careful buffing, because Locket was always one of the best items, especially snowball items in the game, and usable on a lot of full damage comps, because it would be able to kind of offset your damage synergies with tankiness while still giving kind of AP value. But yeah, so like this is a really scary thing to buff. I don't think it's that big, so it's not that big of a deal. Hurricane attack multiplier went up by 5%. Seems like it's still like I guess like a whatever item. It's usable a lot in Shojin comps, so you'll still see it in play regardless of this buff or not. Shiv damage now deals 85 true damage if a target has a shield or a CC'd. I was clarified that CC means pretty much anything. Attack speed slow means a CC. Pretty much everything that's not Echo Ulti is considered a CC, which makes Shiv incredibly powerful. It's already one of the best, I guess, 6 cyber snowballing items in the game, and it could be even better now. So it's definitely like a scary item to buff, I would say, but kind of interesting. It is definitely not used that much outside of, I would say, Battlecast at the moment. So here's hoping that it use a little bit more, but not too broken. Sword buff. Chance of disarm got increased to 33%. I played a lot when Sivir was meta in set 2, and Swordbreaker was somewhat used there a lot. It's really obnoxious. If Swordbreaker's meta, that item is like, there's a reason they removed Hush from the game, because having your units not do stuff is not very fun. So I'm a little bit scared of buffs like this, but overall should be. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal, because usually when you're playing blasters, a lot of times the blasters need 2 damage items, raw damage items, to even keep up with the lobby, and maybe 3 to even punch through a lot of the really strong tanky front lines like 4 or 6 Vanguard or Mystics. So it's really rare that you're able to see a Swordbreaker, so it's always going to be somewhat of a second tier blaster item, which is kind of where it's supposed to be. I hope in the future they just remove this item or kind of rework it, because you're never going to run anything that's not a blaster, and it feels like it's just super like pigeonholed regardless. But okay, of all of these, Hodge looks like it has the most chance of being pretty good, and okay, that's fine. And maybe Shiv. Traits. While not technically a trait, the Mana Reave costs from Shroud, Ezreal, and Mana Reaver got reduced from 40% to 30%. Great. Currently playing the game, I'm playing against 5 Shrouds a game. Feels like a little bit too powerful. Like, everyone has poison on their board at all times. Excuse me. So it's not really fun to play against that much. I'm so happy that it got increased. Oh my god, I have hiccups. I got increased. We were talking about 6+ Chrono not seeing much play. It got quite a significant buff at the 6 mark, where it lost 0.5 seconds. That's pretty big. It's like a 33% buff, right? You might be able to see stuff like Chrono Ash, which was somewhat of a meme comp, come back and may potentially do things, because it needs 6 Chrono plus Ash. Potentially, there's something possible there. Especially on galaxies where you're gonna get a Fawn, like you maybe make something work. Not sure. It seems maybe it might just be bad all the way through, but hopefully you'll be able to see at least some fringe comp with it. Infiltrator time jump is now 0.6. That means infiltrators on frontline will no longer get to the backline faster. Oh, so no matter where you put the infiltrator, you'll always be able to jump. Okay, that's fine. Mech pilot justice damage got decreased at 345, I think, or 3. Yeah, these 3. Okay, that's fine. Don't think that's super relevant. Rebel buff increased by 15 a shield at 2, or the second tier, and then no one really hits 9 rebels, and if you hit 9 rebels, you're probably going to be in a really good position anyways. It's a very small buff to 6 rebels. It's okay. I think rebels are just ride or die on if you can hit Jinx 2 with really good frontline, and sometimes you just need the items for it, and if you don't have the items for it, Space Pirate drop chance got buffed by quite a bit. Wow. Okay. I think Space Pirates are still unplayable because casting got removed, so you can't run a full good comp. And demo spot got removed, so you can't run a full good comp with 4 pirates. It's always something you have to transition out of, which makes it much harder to play the game if you're forced to do that every game. So I think that it's just not possible to play 4. But let's say you get an early GP with the right items like a GA, you can maybe farm some items for through stage 4 and then sell it when you get to stage 5. That's possible. I think Space Pirates honestly kind of a failure in 3.5, and synergy that will probably get removed in 4. Just sucks that there's no synergies you're able to build off of it. Okay, champions. Fiora tier 1 got buffed by 50 health. That's fine. Zed got buffed at tier 2. Okay. Bard got nerfed at tier 1. So if you high roll an early Bard, just putting it in doesn't mean that much. That's cool. I think there were situations where people were playing Bards and getting insane value in the early stages. Yi 3 got nerfed by 25 true damage. I think Yi is an insane comp. Yi is like 6 PM Yi is the ultimate high roll comp right now. If you hit 6 PM Yi with Shen 3, Yi 3, you're doing some work. Like you're ending top 2 in your lobby. Pretty much, because you just murder people right now. Fizz Chum the Waters went down on Fizz 1. Still really strong Fizz 2. Fizz is still one of the best assassins in the game, one of the best units in the game. So even though it got nerfed by 50 damage at tier 1, it just means you won't drop in a Fizz 1 as easily as you could before. Still, whatever, Fizz, still a great unit. They didn't touch anything on his 2. Jin got a minor nerf, which is okay. I think Jin isn't like super OP, and he's somewhat counterable. A lot of dodge items are being played right now to deal with Jin at the moment. And it's really bad. And yeah, it's really frustrating if you have to go RFC. For it, Jinx ended up getting a 5 AD buff, and Teemo got a slight nerf. So they nerfed a little bit of the Astra Sniper comp in general here. I think it's still very good. GP got buffed, which should help with the pirate drop chance. The level 1 GP actually got a 100 damage buff. That's actually pretty significant when it comes to 6 Sork play. So maybe if you get GA plus Death Cap, maybe GP comes back a little bit. I'm not sure, but definitely he's the weakest 5 cost at the moment because he's the least played. Hopefully he'll see more play with this work. Chase traits, we're looking to improve some chase traits that aren't currently worth it when you hit them. They're very rare and hard to hit, so it should be more rewarding when they do. Okay, that's fine. Rebel damage buff at 9 goes to 420%. Okay, like I said, if you hit 9 Rebel, more power to you. That's an insane buff. Star Guardian 9 goes from 45 to 60. Okay, that's also really hard. Backcast 8. All these require 2 spats, by the way, that I'm reading out. Backcast 8 goes from 880 to 1000. Okay, so if you hit them twice, you deal like 1 billion damage. Dark Star at 8. Okay, Infiltrator at 6. Yeah, these are all like incredibly difficult, except for maybe the Infiltrator at 6 to be able to get. Yeah, I don't mind buffing chase traits. If they hit it, then you know what, they deserve it. That's what I think, at least. 3-star champion balance. We're trying to make 3-star a little bit more worthwhile, especially for non-carry champions. Our goal is not to be win conditions, but something you consider chasing if you have to happen to roll extra copies to power up your army. I don't mind that logic right here. I think that's cool to be able to do that. Leona got buffed from 204. That's crazy strong, actually. They buffed Poppy, Ziggs a little bit. The Leona 3 seems really powerful. 400. Wait, they doubled her effectiveness. What? Isn't level 280? It goes 80 to 400? That seems like, wow, we're popping Candyland back with this Leona Poppy bus. This seems really, Can she die? I'm kind of curious if it's possible to kill Leona. Okay, Ari goes up by this. Annie goes up. Blitz goes to 133. That's actually crazy. That's a 500 damage buff right here, right? Almost. Darius goes up by 88. Actually, I wish they buffed Darius more. It's probably the only thing that I would like here. Mordekaiser goes up. Mordekaiser actually showed really good results. And Aegon in the last tournament did really well with more 2 games in a row. Nahlis got stun increased by 1 second. Okay, these are all like the only things I think that are like, oh, you can actually reasonably hit if you're chasing them. Darius, Annie are good, and maybe Ari, you know. But maybe you go Nahlis now because it's like 1 more second. That's pretty nice. You'd already be going Mordekaiser. Ezreal EMP damage goes from 400 to 800. Okay. Rumble, BBQ Rumble does 150 more. This doesn't seem that much. This is like really weak for a 3-star buff. Vi goes up to 250, and Vayne goes. Oh, Vayne actually got a pretty huge buff. 50% more AD. That's really nice. Gnar goes. Okay, if you hit 3-star Gnar, you deserve it because like anyone can kind of cock block you at tier 4 champions with just having another 2-star of the same unit. Riven goes up to 1200 and 600, and tier 5 Janna Howling Gale CC is 8 seconds. Okay, you know, if you get Janna 3 in my lobby, you deserve to have an 8-second CC. Overall, for the patch, it doesn't look like much change. They nerfed a little bit of stuff. The biggest thing, I guess, the Bard, the Yi 3, the quality of life for the item recipes is probably the most important thing. And then maybe the Hodge Shiv buffs are very, very interesting. I'm curious to see where they go with that. Overall, it's a very small buff. I'd say the meta is in a better spot than most of the patches of this set, so I kind of like where things at. Yeah, pretty quick rundown. Ha! Got him. It's like, it took what, like 5 minutes, right?